the Kristallnacht, a very important event happened, which is also, which is relatively little known event. The British government under Neville Chamberlain at the time passed a law, whatever, made a decision to allow 10,000 Jewish children from Germany, Austria, and Czechoslovakia. Czechoslovakia was added later because they weren't in need yet, to come to England without any guarantor, just come. And all of my friends registered for that, and they all left as early as a month later. They were gone. I did not, because my father was not around, and it never occurred to my mother that this would be, it never occurred to me that it was proper for me to leave her. Although my friends left their mothers and fathers.
What was the age range of children that were allowed to go? What was the upper limit?
The upper limit was 18, and the lower limit was probably, I remember 5, sort of 4 or 5. And both Jewish and non-Jewish, in the sense of non-religious Jewish children, went in that way, and even big people who were only partially Jewish went on this children's transports, they called them. Kindertransport was the proper title of the thing. And so I was then left alone. Things got socially very difficult. Somehow I don't know anything about our economic situation. There must have been enough money squirreled away here and there, because we continued to live modestly, but not much differently from the way we had lived before. My father had been transferred from Dachau to Buchenwald.
How did you have that information?
Well, we remember these were not extermination camps. These were very super tough prisons, you know. I mean, but no, I won't say nobody got killed, because people did get killed, but it was not the intent. I mean, they got brutalized and terribly badly treated. They work extremely hard, but the objective was not to kill people or starve them to death or exterminate them in any way, shape or form. So as I said, we got a particular, we got communications once a month, you know, some kind of I am well, hope you are well too. That was the nature of it. I mean, there was nothing of substance, but some handwriting and a signature. The interesting thing was then that, again, through these old political contacts, my mother got to know a man who had been a police colonel in the Austrian police, but of Jewish extraction, who had enough contacts. I mean, he was no longer active, of course. He had been pensioned off, but living as a police pensioner. I don't know what happened to him. And he said there are ways of getting him out. And the way to do it was to prove that he would be leaving the country, that he had a place to go. So, although the world, of course, was closed to almost everybody, there was nothing. There was some vague attempt to go to Mexico. There was something in Mexico, but that didn't work out. A lot of people were going to Shanghai. Shanghai was because there was no, you could just go, all you could buy it, you needed no permits of any kind, and lots of people just boarded ships and went to Shanghai. And there was also a way of pretending to go to Shanghai in order to go to some port of embarkation. And that was and this is what the police colonel recommended, that she bought him a fake ticket on a non-existent ship out of, I don't know, somewhere in France, I guess, I don't know. French port, I think. Now, and with this she went to the Gestapo and there was some kind of a procedure she was able to find out, and apparently it worked, and my father was released on the strength of this. Now, this was all a big game, of course, because Gestapo was a very competent police organization. They knew this wasn't a real ship and a real ticket, but the game was played. They accepted it. on the basis that he would be allowed to, that he would leave the country within 30 days and take with him 1 suitcase and 10 marks and a wedding ring. I remember that distinctly. Those were the conditions, and she accepted that. And he arrived home, thin, shaven head. 2 days before what I didn't say, when I was hanging around the house during this period without any friends, and you know, we weren't allowed to go to a park, you weren't allowed to go to a movie. It was, your life began to be restricted. It was a ghetto-like existence without walls, if you will. But you couldn't do anything.
So what did you do?
Read. You know, when your friend, you know, you have a circle of friends and they're all gone. I mean, it was pretty bad. I mean, relatively speaking.
Had you ever discussed with your mother about you going on the transport?
Well, she brought. No, I did not. Oddly enough, I remember distinctly that there was no. It was sort of a tacit understanding that I was to wait till my father came out, then we would leave as a family.
Most of the children who went left both parents behind. Is that?
Yes,
yeah,
indeed.
So
there was no question of
both parents were there.
Oh, absolutely.
So that was what made
well, if there were, yes, they
yeah.
definitely left their parents behind. But she then began to urge me. After some months, you've got to get out. You can't do this. And I wrote this. I was in touch with my friends in England, and they in turn found someone who would sponsor me. Although the sponsorship was not absolutely essential, it was better to have a sponsor. And this particular English lady was a very influential person, a person of some substance. Because when I applied, there were thousands of applications, and I was at the bottom of the pile, and the probability of going was fairly below. And then a miracle occurred. Because she was so influential, she simply picked up the phone and wrote a letter to Lord somebody, who was president of the board of British Jew, and he must have made a telephone call, and within a week I had a call and say, you're leaving on May 15th.